relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Oh, hey, shit.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the real issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from our S4 headquarters here in the heart of the Cascade Mountains in the studio in Cape Horn, Washington. So tonight, it's February 21st. It's our February Roundtable. February is my favorite month of the whole frickin' year. Always a great show as we all kick back with 3 questions and pick the topics apart. It's great fun, and we don't have to study for anything prior to the show for that whole week. It's awesome. So, Cole, you wanted to give a shout out.
Well, yeah, so first of all, the 18th was Eric's birthday. Today is my mother's birthday. So, let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Eric and Colby. Happy birthday to you.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Eric.
I feel so freaking old. Anyway, no, you had a shout out to Drumheller.
I do want to give a shout out to the town of Drumheller and their residents. And unfortunately, we lost 3 lives there last night. So to everyone there, our thoughts are with you, and we hope that it gets a little bit better for you guys. So
right.
Yeah. All right, now take over because I got to figure out this whole thing with Joe because Joe's not here, man.
Yeah, we got to figure out Joe. Right. All right. So real quick, next week we're talking black-eyed children.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Then March 7th, we'll be talking Project Blue Book and MJ12. March 14th is MILABS. March 21st is Roundtable, and the 28th is Antarctica. What are the secrets it holds? So March is full, and I'm already actually working on April as far as getting topics filled. So if you want a topic you want to hear about, or if you have a guest you want to hear on the show, send me an email. Which email are we going to use, Cole?
S4radiowinner@gmail.com. That's S4radiowinner@gmail.com.
Excellent. Excellent. Also, we are recruiting Forest Moon Paranormal Team members. So if you want an application, and I have sent out a couple applications, send me an email at medicineagle, medicine_eagle@yahoo.com, and I'll get you an application. And with that, yes, we will be going on actual haunting cases. For the most part, we're going to be doing planned sky watches, planned camping trips, looking for Bigfoot, things of that nature. That'll be great fun. We're also in touch with the Paranormal Quest team. We may have them on the show in April to spotlight them based on their schedules. So we'll see how that goes. Check them out. That's one team I am impressed with that does videos and has their own YouTube channel. You can tell a lot, and I know you would agree, Barry. You can tell a lot by a team and how good or not good they are by their YouTube channels, because they show how they really are on YouTube. And that's kind of the question I posed in the FMP group is, what were people's thoughts on groups that post their investigations on YouTube, for example? One, I see a confidentiality issue, unless, of course, they have clients' permission. But still, I don't know of too many people who want their entire house, their personal belongings and all that, posted for everybody to see. It just... Right. Hold on a sec. And you know that's something. Oh, you got it. Never mind. You know, and so you go on some of these teams and then you watch your videos and they got this creepy music playing, you know, in ambience in the background. Like, what the hell? You know what? If I want to watch an investigation like that, I'll go watch Taps on TV or something. When you start getting stupid like that, in my opinion, you're in it for the money because you want the likes and subscribers and the monetization, and that's the wrong reason to be in this field. So, yeah. Right. Absolutely. Right. Hey. I know. I would agree. You know, that's just one of the many channels I'm a subscriber of that I've actually been able to look at. But like I said, you can tell everything you need to know about a team just by watching their YouTube. The minute they start...
oh my God.
What?
I am so sorry, guys.
Are we muted?
He was. Sorry, Barry. Okay, Barry's better.
All right, Barry, we need you to go back and say everything you said for the last 9 minutes.
He lost his voice for a minute, guys. I'm sorry.
I kept nudging you in this.
Oh.
You did not.
I did too. I went,
oh, golly.
But anyway, yeah, no, going back to the Paranormal Quest, they, you know, and I'm sure you've seen their video, it was the best evidence compilation. And
yeah.
It was, what frustrates me about watching teams on video, and we'll get to Roundtable here in a minute, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart anyway. But when you don't know what's real and what's not, they could fake anything they wanted to, and you wouldn't know it because you're not actually on site. So you have to go by. Oh my God! Did you hear that? You know, which is frustrating because you want to hear that. You know, they had a haunted, and this is funny because I just talked about this in a post, but they had a haunted art. The portrait was of a woman named Anne. Mm-hmm. And it was in, I think it was an antique store. So they actually set up all their gear, and they had, you know, the recorder going, they had the cameras going, and they left the store, they locked it up, and they went across the street, I think, to a coffee shop or something. And as they're coming back, one of them heard giggling. I mean, like, you know, not from a spirit box. No, he audibly heard giggling.
Right.
Yeah. And he freaked out. I mean, naturally, it was a woman's giggling. And I think one of the other ones heard it too. And, you know, they ran around, they looked for somebody physical there, and there's nobody there. Well, it was actually, and I do believe it, it was actually Anne, the spirit of the woman in the portrait, that was giggling at them because she knew what they were going to find on their EVP.
Uh-huh.
And what they found on the EVP was actually her talking to them.
I gotta tell you, ever since that one vampire movie with the portrait where it gets older but he doesn't.
You don't like portraits?
No, pictures are freaky.
But yeah, and that was the first case they had shown because one, they had the physical giggling that they all heard, at least two of them heard, and then they got an EVP to actually verify it really was the spirit of Anne. And I believe he bought that portrait and he took it to his house, so he actually has that portrait and the spirit of Anne in his home. Yeah,
he has actually a haunted museum. He has one of the better ones in West Virginia there. And it's just a sweet place. He has several haunted items that they have collected through their investigations.
And so I want to clarify this too, because I don't encourage people to run out and start buying haunted objects because you want to have your own haunted museum, because that's just really a bad idea unless you know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing with them. You definitely have to know what you're doing.
Well, I think I think of Annabelle and the Warrens Museum, but not everything is bad, and but you don't know what you're getting when you buy that haunted item. So yeah, don't buy a haunted item.
Exactly. I mean, that's one of the things that we always ask on a case too, because when you walk into a residential, you always ask them, "Hey, have you bought anything new from an antique store or anything like that? Or did somebody give you something?
Are you an avid Goodwill shopper?"
Yeah, I was about to say, it doesn't even have to be an antique store. It could be Goodwill.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Anything that you brought in your house that could have belonged to somebody else and they got rid of it for some reason or other, and now it's in your home.
And
I have haunted pants.
It could be toys. It could be dolls. It could be jewelry. It can be, especially jewelry, because a lot of your jewelry has stones on it,
yes,
which can amplify and trap spirits, especially crystal jewelry.
Yep.
So, just be careful what you get.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with what you get. And some people even sage them or do something with them before they even bring them into their house, especially with furniture.
Right.
And that's not a bad idea to do.
That was weird. I got loud.
Yeah,
I got real loud.
Give me a second here.
Cole's over here playing with electronics.
No, it's a ghost of Christmas past.
It is. It is. I got to turn my volume down.
Oh my god. Okay.
So also for that was loud. For listeners, we did get a new mic. We've had it for a couple weeks now, a couple shows, but we're still I think getting used to the adjustments and whatnot.
Trying to build out the bugs.
Yeah.
Work out the bugs.
Trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, buddy.
So.
What's that?
Oh, god damn. Really? Kayla, do you want to ask the first question tonight? She's over there bouncing up and down and shit. Okay, what's the first question for the night, Kayla?
No, man. Okay, I was just excited because for the first time since we've started Roundtable, I actually thought of a question. But
Oh, God.
Wow.
Right?
Sorry. Okay. And you know it's going to be lame because it's me. So.
No, you actually have probably some of the most thought-provoking out there questions. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this one isn't.
No?
So, hey guys. So in your opinion, can a siren song affect a cryptid male like it can affect a human male?
Okay, so give an example of a cryptid male. Are you talking like a Bigfoot comes walking down into the water and a siren starts singing?
Yeah, I'm talking like, okay, so you got your Bigfoots, you got your dog mans, you got your goat mans, you got...
Pig man.
Do you think that they're affected by the siren the same way that, like, humans are?
I'm going to agree with Izzy and say yes.
Okay.
I think it doesn't really matter. It's the masculine, feminine side of it. I think it has to do with the hormones. I think it has to do with the testosterone levels or the just going on a whim there with that. I would say yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would say yes too, because singers, they would actually call us a singer, and singers are so potent as far as what they can do with their voice and what they can do to you. So yeah, I'd have to agree with that too. I think that any Bigfoot, any type of creature would be affected by that, because that is such a special a gift, and it is very mesmerizing.
Right, but wouldn't it be like some kind of telepathy versus telepathy almost? I mean, if a Bigfoot is an interdimensional creature, okay, couldn't he just make
that
like
would just mean that he would be able to hear it, you know?
Yeah.
He'd be able to hear it in this dimension.
Right, exactly. He'd be able to hear it in both dimensions, actually. I mean, if that's the way you wanted to look at it.
True.
Because of the fact that it's going, it's a wave, you know, and singers are just known for their wonderful music and their mesmerization. I mean, how it mesmerizes people and controls them, and it does that even in the other in all realms, because they've been, you know, there's not too many singers out there anymore. And the singers that are there are in other dimensional worlds also. So it affects everyone. When you hear a singer sing, it's like, oh, there you go.
Right.
All right. Cool.
So let's jump over to Arnold. Arnold, what's your first question tonight?
So when someone like me who's going back into photography and stuff, you're going into an old cemetery, I mean one that's been around for ages, a cemetery, to take photos, is there a chance you could bring out an entity with you?
Absolutely, if you're not using protection.
For sure.
Yes,
Trojans.
100% so.
Huh?
100%.
You're wrong. You know, always. So I'm not going to say you have to say a prayer before you go to the cemetery, or you know, something I do recommend is what we use with the team anyway, is black tourmaline. But you know, carry something, especially if you know you're going into a potentially spirit-prone area like a cemetery.
Okay.
Or if you
your intent very high, you want your intent to be
right,
really good, and you want to have the greatest respect. And you know, you got to remember that spirits do listen to you if your intent is correct. And if you're coming there to pay respect and so forth, just tell them to stay there. And you'll come back to visit. You know, that's what they are interested in. And if you would do that, then 9 times out of 10, they're not going to follow you. It's the ones that go in, don't think anything about it, ask a few questions, and then they say,
There we go.
hey, we're coming back in to do that.
hey, we got Joe.
Joe.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm alive. The government got in and messed with my phone.
Damn it! Well, that's good. That's good. We were talking about the Men in Black last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So hey, who got after last week's show? Anybody get visited?
No, but I had one heck of a weird week. And we had that fake snow stuff up here. It's still melting at 50 degrees. I mean, it's like going...
I hate that fake snow.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like plastic or something.
Yeah, we had a heat wave today. We're up to 50, and the snow's still on the ground, you know, and I'm like going,
You know, I saw a video where this guy actually put a blowtorch to snow, and it wasn't melting with a blowtorch.
Yeah, we
No,
put it on
we
top of a fire.
We put a chunk
It
of it
wasn't?
in a fire and watched it just sit there.
yeah. And it's kind of weird. I mean, I've seen them compare real snow to that snow and everything else. And about a year and a half ago or so, I did an experiment. I said, well, let me go outside and see, because this snow's acting weird. And it actually looks weird on the top. And so I did the experiment and put it in my sink. No water from meldage, anything. Put a light underneath of it, and it burnt. It turned black.
Huh.
You know,
See, and that makes you wonder, is that climate change?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
No, that's geoengineering. You know, that's
Yeah.
Project Spike at its best. That the
I would
government has
agree.
always said we have it and we don't use. And the UK was the first to really come out with it and use it. They were using it to modify. They have a lot of ski areas and everything else over there. They were creating their own snow, but they were also creating snow that was actually falling that would put big totals to be able to allow people to ski longer and extend the ski seasons.
Oh, and so I want to address something real quick. So, Sherry, bears always on S4. Because she's saying,
hello,
bear.
Sherry.
She's saying, woohoo, bear's back. Well, yeah, Bear, Arnold, and Joe are regular fixtures on the show. We always, and I've said this, I said this a couple weeks ago back. I kind of see S4 as kind of like a fireside chat of paranormal. So yeah, we get into facts. We get into what we see as fact, based on the research we do and experiences we've all been through. But this is much like a fireside chat.
She's saying because she could hear him again.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Frick, you're old.
Yada yada yada. And no, she actually reminded me. I with her other comment, I do need to start ordering black tourmaline because we do have a new team coming in. So yeah,
I mean, geriatric medicine.
what, black tourmaline?
No, just some kind of like some memory help. Like,
Good thing we're not on YouTube.
we're on radio. You remember that, right? They can't see that.
No. So, Joe, any black helicopters?
No, I figured after last week there'd be something going on, but there's obviously no one coming up my road. They don't know how to get up my road, but no one showed up at the house. As usual, there hasn't been anyone showed up at the house in over a year and a half, I think. But no strange vehicles, no knocks at the door.
You'd think they'd change the color of their helicopters.
I did have the U-2 fly over the house about 3 days after we talked, and it was really low. So I figured they were just getting some really good pictures of my place.
Could be.
I got pictures of it. They're going to take pictures of me. I'm going to take pictures of them.
Yes, exactly. Nobody could get to us because of that darn storm. I mean, it just took Tennessee and Kentucky, southern central Kentucky, and just deadened it. I mean, nobody went anywhere. They didn't go to work for a week up here. I mean, they don't know how to drive in this stuff. And we had about an inch of ice underneath that, the snow that fell. And wow, it was weird. And I don't
Wasn't
know.
it like that in about 70% of the U.S.?
Yeah.
I mean, it hit everybody.
Right.
Yeah, it came up from Texas. And
That's
I've never
normal
seen,
here, though.
What, ice?
Buddy,
No, the fact that if it hits the ground, everything stops. Nobody can move. The world has to shut down. Friggin'.
yeah,
Even the cops in Mount Vernon were bitching about not being able to go up the hills. It's like, maybe
Well, you know what's weird? I mean, I remember when I was younger, it seems like, I know that was a long time ago, and maybe it's a little cloudy, but I don't ever... Excuse me. Ooh. Choked on my coffee.
Gesundheit.
When we were younger, I remember like 32 degrees. I mean, if it was 25 degrees outside and you were getting precipitation, it was going to be snow.
Right.
Here, we were getting rain at 26 degrees.
Right.
And I kept on going like...
This same storm last week when it came through us first on the West Coast, and I was outside. It's 29 degrees, and it was raining.
Yeah. Well, what's the
And then
deal?
the next day it was 38 degrees, and it was snowing.
Snowing. Yeah, exactly. It was warmer, and it was snowing, and then it got bitter cold. I mean, it was like 9 degrees here. It never gets that cold out here.
But
9 and 11 degrees.
Wow. Gods are drunk.
You can guarantee we'll have snow for Easter again.
Yeah, well, it's that one video that I've seen a million times. He who controls the weather controls the world.
Which one was that?
Maybe it's the Chinese messing with us.
Yeah, that's actually, I think it was, the person who was speaking was Lyndon Baines Johnson in about 1960. He was giving a speech at a college, and, he had this little college outfit out on there in the whole 9 yards, and that's what those who control the weather will control the world.
Yeah, well, it's the early 70s. There was a treaty actually signed. I mean, it's the middle of the Cold War, and we signed a treaty with Russia that says we're not going to use weather modification on each other. Now, why would they be signing a treaty unless we could do it?
That's exactly right.
No, we don't. That's probably about the time.
And that was 50 years ago.
But that's about the time we developed HARP.
HARP.
Yeah, HARP was right next.
Blames HARP.
Yeah, no, but HARP is in Alaska. It's right next to China, or right next to Russia. So that would kind of make sense with that one.
Well, there's so many different HARP situations now. They're everywhere.
How old is that HARP facility? Think about it. The technology's gotten better. They've probably got them all over the place.
They probably got them in hand.
In Australia.
They probably got them in handheld form now.
In Australia. They do have them.
They use Pine Gap to mess up the weather in China.
But think about it. We were doing
Yangtze River make that big dam burst.
We were doing weather modification to an extent back in the 1800s when you had farmers shooting rock salt up in the clouds. Yep.
Right.
So it was real easy to kind of for scientists to go, oh, wow, they could shoot rock salt up in clouds and make it rain.
Rock falling from the sky.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
even in that same era, meat falling from the sky.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, raw meat fell from the sky in Kentucky in the early 1900s or late 1800s.
Did they ever figure out what kind of meat it was?
That's where the term raining cats and dogs
was it pig?
came from.
Was it deer? Was it human?
They never
tested it.
Were able to tell. Never tested.
Nope.
I really don't think that was meat. I
Really?
think that red
like
goo.
chicken.
I think that the red goo that fell from the sky was algae that got sucked up.
This wasn't red goo. What was it?
This was actually meat. They determined it to be meat. They just didn't know what it was, and it was raw, and it was hanging on trees.
Animal.
You know somebody ate it.
If somebody's got some of that meat in a can, I will eat it and tell you what it is.
That's good eating.
Well, isn't it sitting in a museum?
I think there is a piece sitting in a museum. I think I actually saw that on the Travel Channel's museum show.
I mean...
all right, give me Guy Fieri and that meat.
How many years ago was that?
That was in the 1800s.
Okay, that's not good eating anymore.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't eat it now.
No, but in our day and age of technology today, it wouldn't take much for them to take a sample of that meat and test it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense that they haven't yet.
It's like alien
it depends
on... They might not want to know.
And no, it might be the fact that it's from the 1800s.
Right.
So it's probably in a controlled environment.
Yeah, you take that meat out of that hole and it's going to...
Turn to maggots.
Nothing.
No, it's probably hard as heck.
Okay.
Like, there's
fossilized meat chunks from the sky.
I would think they still have some kind of testing they could do.
If they still have a piece of it, like if it's in a controlled environment, like some of the stuff we have on display is, you can't actually pull that out anymore.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe it was part of a dragon that got tied up in a storm and just cushed all over the place.
It could just be
and they're
an
afraid
alien
that somebody
ship.
will recreate one.
It's an alien ship and they let go of all their refuge.
That'd be human.
All over.
You would know all about that, wouldn't you, Caleb?
Yeah.
Got rid of all the abducted human parts.
Yeah.
So one of the things we do on the show is we always take chat room questions before we take our own. And Sherry's got a question. If you guys have time later in the show, we always do for our listeners. I'd love to hear your favorite cryptid other than Bigfoot, and why you all might believe the story. Who wants to start?
I will.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, so the one I actually believe in the most is gremlins.
Okay. Why?
And the reasoning is because...
And why is he your favorite?
Well, come on. Anybody that fucks with people is my favorite person. But the thing is, these guys were trained to be fighter pilots. The guys from the World War II that claimed that gremlins actually were taking apart their planes in midair. These guys are trained really well. They really were.
I was thinking about the movie.
They were training their entire lives, like since they were 18 for this.
Right.
And there was 40-year-old men claiming that this was happening.
Mm-hmm. Professional pilots at that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
These guys can see...
My first exposure to gremlins was a Bugs Bunny cartoon, so...
Yeah. But like these guys can see, were trained to look down at the ground and be able to tell exactly where they are from what they could see at that many feet up.
And that was before GPS, when you couldn't say, "Oh, I was supposed to drop the bomb on that target right there." Yeah.
Exactly. The other part of it is, how do you explain landing gear falling off a plane when they checked those planes before they took off every time?
Right.
It was early in...
I don't care how much wind force you put on those. That doesn't shear a bolt like that quickly.
No. So, along with that, I like gargoyles.
Gargoyles are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And not just the cartoon gargoyles. That was one of my favorites too, years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But, no. I thought it was awesome that all these ancient buildings all had gargoyles.
I love the ones at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Those are cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, with the fire they had, that building should have went a lot higher, like faster and higher than it did. Mm-hmm. That building should be gone.
And why do I like it? Why do I believe it? I believe they were the guardians of that culture, of the guardians of that building. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you want to talk about ancient species, I do believe gargoyles are real. I do believe, I don't believe they come to life at night, necessarily, but gargoyles, that's my cryptid.
Mine's a rake. It is. I love the concept.
I knew it.
I do. I love the concept of an underground.
No one needed to ask.
Cave dwelling species. It's just, it fascinates me.
So there's actually a post in another group that rakes don't exist. It's really not a rake. It's some other kind of creature. And so of course my comment was, you know what? Tell that to Barry in Kentucky. Because they got rakes all over Kentucky.
Some of those down there. Yeah.
It's a hoe.
Yeah.
And well, and even if it's not a rake, if it's something else, I just love the idea of a cave-dwelling underground species.
Right.
That fascinates me so much. It makes me want to go into every little cave and check and see if I can find one. Mm-hmm. Honestly.
What about you, Arnold?
Sometimes.
I don't know. I haven't had, unless I don't know about it, too many interactions with other issues except Bigfoot. That's the only ones that I really know of because of where I worked and stuff. But I'm just trying to think about when we lived in our other houses that we did have things going on and happening, and I'm just trying to think of what it would have been by name and stuff.
Right.
But
okay, we'll come back to you. Think about it. Look it up.
Okay.
What about you, Joe?
Well, for me, I guess I'd have to go with Hat Man.
Ooh.
It's not necessarily a favorite of mine, But I saw him once go across the front of the barn, and one time I had walked around behind the barn, and somebody else was standing over by the house, and they saw it go along the barn behind me.
Was that in California?
So, yep.
Was that?
And it's the classic hat man with the big, like, the flat-brimmed Zorro hat with the big cape.
Did you see
the
it?
shadow actually went along. It went along the front of the barn, and when it got to my truck, the head was above the top of my Bronco.
What month was this?
So it's fairly good size. What's that?
What month was it? Was it between January and March?
Probably, summertime is the closest I can get.
Okay, never mind. You're good. There wasn't an alien.
No.
No, there's an alien that also wears a hat.
My favorite because I don't know. No one really knows anything about him. They say it's different than the shadow figures. The Hat Man's something different, but
right.
I saw it once, and somebody else saw it in the same place. The front of the barn is lit up by a big light over on the other side of the property.
Going down there?
There's nothing in between. There was no one playing Zorro out here in front of the light. So just the fact that it showed up, I guess, would be I'm curious about it.
Cole started jumping up and down, so I think
not
we're
jumping up and down. Looking at you sideways. Cole
doesn't jump up and down. Come on, man.
Why you always got to blame everything on Caleb? Joe talks about Hat Man, you automatically blame the aliens.
No, there's one race that actually is in California, and it's off the coast of Italy as well, called the Rogue, that does have, and the hat is actually their form. There is a Hat Man. That's why I asked about the month you saw it, because they're only active from January to March. Nobody knows why.
Because they hibernate.
Well, they go back to their...
Is that your rebuttal?
...underwater base. And they are violent. It's a violent race. But they're in California and they're only...
that violent.
Huh?
She gets a little violent, but she's okay.
Oh, Jesus.
No, these ones like slash and eat people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Barry, what's your favorite non-Bigfoot cryptid?
I like everybody's. I mean, I'm a rake fan. I'm a gargoyle fan. I'm everything that everybody's mentioned. But I don't even know if I would classify them as. But I mean, elementals and the Fae have always amused me, and I've always been around them. I've seen them. There's been stories forever about them, even during war times. I remember that, when they set up camps in certain areas, you don't want to go there because of the fact that if you put anything in their area, they get a little upset with you, and they're very tricksterish and do quite a lot of different things.
Oh, they can be aggressive when they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So I think, and I don't know if you'd classify them as cryptids or not, but I think those are probably my most unique and favorites. But, man, the rake, Bigfoot, Dogman, also the hyena type thing. This newest thing we've seen is this hyena. Vampires on the lines of a rake, all that kind of stuff. Just they're all there. They're people don't realize that this stuff is real to us all, and they've lived underground. They live on all other areas, and you never know what you're going to run into.
Sherry wants you to talk about the Goat Man at Octagon Hall.
I thought Barry was the Goat Man of Octagon Hall.
Yes, I am the Goat Man of Octagon Hall. There are several different things at Octagon Hall because of the type of property it is, the ancients of it, the underground areas to it, caves running underneath of it, ancient water systems running into it. There are Bigfoot. There are what I consider to be wolvers, and something that is so strange that I actually have it on a trap cam picture that I don't even know it peeked behind a tree. It knew where the trap cam was, and it actually leaned out from the tree, and the trap cam caught it, and then it went back in behind the tree. And God, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So we have all different kinds of stuff, Sherry, and it's like we've heard the scream of Bigfoot up close and personal. Mm-hmm. We've gotten Bigfoot tracks out there. We have personally seen what we call the wolvers, or a wolf type of being, and also other odd things just come out of a portal. The hall, as strange as it seems, certain paranormal places have everything wrapped into one. Right. And I think that's one of the areas that do, and it's tied to the land. The portal areas around there, when they open, you never know what you're going to see come out of one of them. I've had some outrageous experiences there. It's probably why I love the property so darn much. I love the house also, the spirits and things that go on in the house, the shadow figures. But the adventure is on the property itself to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
thank you for the question, and by the way.
Do you think it might be not so much the area or the caves underground, or do you think it might be the architecture of the building? Has anybody looked into that?
Yeah, well, it's made into an octagon shape, and yes, we've done that quite. It was built by a Masonic member. It is. Let me see if I can remember. It's 26 feet. Each side is 26 feet long. It sets at a very unusual angle. All of if you're standing in the middle of it and you point your GPS to it, it will all give you different great readings. When you look at down from the top, we've had drones on it and everything else, and it is it definitely needs some decoding. I will tell you that, because as you look
maybe
at
the shape of the building created some kind of vortex or something that attracts all the other cryptids.
Of the building, Joe, I think the shape of the building kind of makes it a spirit trap. Even the stairs, and we know that they did do some things like that. The Sonics were very into that. One of the things that we do know is that a lot of the, when you go up the first staircase, it's 13 stairs to the landing. And most people don't put 13 steps in, but Masonic members seem to use 13 quite a lot.
And it's interesting because they won't put a 13th floor in either. A lot of your older buildings don't have a 13th floor.
Right.
Well, they all have a 13th floor. They just don't call it that.
They skip it.
Just don't go to the 13th floor. Elevators, I remember when I was younger, and you go up these buildings, they never had a 13 on them. You never stopped. The elevator never stopped 13. There wasn't a 13. It
Most
was
buildings
12,
still follow that.
Yeah. So, Cole, what did you just find?
Oh. Now I gotta go back to it.
So, Cole wants a pet Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, Velociraptor.
No? Okay. And
I'm gonna get one.
He's gonna get one, yeah, because, apparently they've just cloned their first. What was it?
Well, okay, so the first U.S. native animal has been cloned successfully.
Hey, you just stole my first question.
Oh. So an black-footed ferret, they've been endangered for the last 30 years. The ferret that it was cloned from did die 30 years ago.
They're never going to have ferrets.
Everywhere.
God. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Cheyenne wants a ferret, so I guess she can go catch one. No, I'm not paying you $150 for it out in the backyard. Go get one. Yeah, no. Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, if they can clone something that's been dead for 30 years, Who's to say they can't clone something that's been dead for 10,000 years?
Right?
No,
Well,
that's
you get
kind of
viable DNA, right?
That's kind of the
They
point.
found
They find them
viable
as,
DNA in woolly mammoths that they've found, coming out of the permafrost. Other animals that they've found viable DNA in a lot of these things. And
Well,
I think there's actually an effort right now. It might be China that they're trying to clone a woolly mammoth.
there is an effort for them. There is a guy who is at CERN right now, and he does have use of not the main collider, but one of the smaller units to de-evolve a chicken.
oh no.
They turn it into an egg?
No, like actually de-evolve it completely to the point of what
Molecular.
chickens used to be, which would be
Dinosaur.
that one they found in Japan. I can't remember what it's called, honestly. Phil Curry was the paleontologist who went on the dig. He was the lead on it.
Do humans not get it?
No,
What do
they
you mean?
don't. Why would
Humans don't get it. Some
Hey.
shit you don't play
Hey,
with.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Till I get my Velociraptor.
No.
Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should. No.
That applies to like drinking milk when you're lactose intolerant, not getting meat fat.
Well, now, are we
God.
not too sure that they're not already here, but in another dimension, in some of these portals and some of the things that have been used lately, like CERN and everything else? CERN is nothing what it originally started out to be, and it has been changed so much that it's so top secret. Who knows what's coming through these portals or
Absolutely
these doorways?
not.
That's happening, and who gave them the right to do it in the first place?
The human civilization sure the hell didn't.
Yes, they did.
Oh well, as we see more and more,
How?
humans, there is a certain type of human that is out here that thinks that they are the top of the food chain, and they're soon to find out that they are going to be the bottom of the food chain because there are things that will eat them.
Like my new pet.
Well, we're top of the food chain as long as we have our technology with us. From pointy sticks to guns to everything else. But, I mean, you put me in a cage with a lion, guess who's top of the food chain? The lion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I want to change my answer to
And hippos.
You gonna change your answer to lion?
No, one of something just popped into my head. The most freakiest thing that I've ever seen, and we're seeing them more and more, are the glimmers. What I consider to be the beasts that look like what was in the movie Terminator, or not Terminator.
Predator.
Predator, yeah, the Predator type creatures. And we are seeing those there's been a lot of reports of the glimmer. Well,
They look like
it's like I am now possibly meat.
right. Yeah.
I've got that feeling before.
Yeah, and that is not a good
Walking
feeling
through the
to have.
woods and the hair on the back of your neck stands up and you look around and say, you know what? I think I'm heading back to the truck.
That's why.
Yeah, no joke, right?
That's why I want my AR-15. Anyway,
I've
Barry,
walked
what?
into buildings and got that feeling, though.
Right,
Yeah.
Barry. What's your first question tonight?
Oh, well, you're ready for this. Okay, we're going to talk about orbs. The phenomena in the UFO field has been orbs for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of reports of them. And but one of the weird things we also know about orbs is that they're seen and associated before an earthquake. So I'm wanting to know, are we dealing with a phenomena that is an Earth event, or are they vehicles of some sort?
I think it's both.
What's your thought?
I think it's both.
As far as the earthquakes go, there's a lot of people saying when the plates are moving, I mean, you got things. Most of the rock that's anywhere has quartz in it.
Right.
I mean, whether it's a sandstone or whether you've got granite moving, there's big chunks of quartz there, and they're grinding against each other. They do hold energy, and it's possible that they do release energy that we see as, a temporary orb or something.
Right.
I don't think that's necessarily everything that everybody's seeing, but it is possible. Although, I mean, I've been in a lot of earthquakes. I've never seen any orbs near, around earthquakes.
Spoken like a true geologist.
That is possible.
Spoken like a true one, isn't it?
Well, here's a geologist.
Yes, I know you.
Well, you want a true geology thing, you can have 10 geologists in a room. You have one rock passing around, they'll all tell you it's something different.
Right. But you see,
They'll all describe it in a different way.
I go by the people I know, and I know you. So you're the S4 geologist.
Yes.
But I do...
the thing that I always... Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
No, I do believe you're seeing both, and I couldn't think how to explain it like Joe did. But yeah, I do know there's an energy that's released. I couldn't think how to describe it. Joe did it perfectly. But part of it is from the Earth, and that's not all the orbs we see. The colored orbs we see. You've got orbs that are actually part of the Fey realm. You've got orbs that I do believe are alien. Those are the ones you can actually kind of see a figure inside. I've heard of stories like that.
Yeah, so have I.
And you actually have, I can't remember which race it is, but there is a race that actually uses an orb-style craft. It looks like an orb. I'm trying to think which race it was.
It's a good point you just made. The orbs, they kind of transcend a whole bunch of different areas of study. People see ghosts that are, and they're orbs, or people see the fairies have orbs, or they could be from the aliens and there's some type of little drones or surveillance devices.
Right.
I think the orbs fall into a lot of different categories, and there are a lot of different things.
I think orbs are described differently and actually seen as the same in every field of the paranormal. Like you just said, Joe, whether it's a haunting case you're in. But, I kind of scowl at orbs in videos people post because obviously you can tell some of them are dirt.
Yeah.
Or, dust. And the first thing you look at is, okay, where's your heating system? Where's the duct system? Do you have any fans? Do you have any windows open? Any doors open? Because you can see the flow or the pattern that they're moving in. And then you have the orbs that are coming towards the camera and darting around. Are those insects? Are they flies? Are they dragonflies? Are they moths? So yeah, you have to analyze it. You have to really look at orbs with a skeptical mind. On that.
The orbs that I always like are straight path orbs that can even pulsate a little.
Right.
And when you have two cameras set up in two different rooms and you see one go into the wall and you see it come out on the other side of the wall, that's always impressive to me.
Yeah, dust doesn't do that, neither do bugs.
Or chances are you may have earthquakes in that area coming up very soon. So that's always a thought. But, I think that all of it's intertwined. I think that orbs could be used by aliens. All of the paranormal, in every aspect, has orbs. What they are or what they do, we still don't have enough evidence to it. I believe what you believe, Eric, is that there are some that are crafts. Some of them are probes. Some of them, the ones that you see at night with self-illuminated lights going around trees in a forest, I believe they're probes. The ones that you see that are on the ground and take off, and you can almost see a person sitting in it, or they're a little bit larger. Those are self-transporting vehicles. Someone's doing collections, and they actually went back to the mothership.
For the next question when we come back, so stay tuned. What? Oh, Cole, you're up for the next question when we come back. so stay tuned. Break.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4 for our February Roundtable. It's always a great show. Well, we all just kick back. We can actually sit back and relax because we don't have researched, from the entire week of getting ready for the show. But Cole, you're up.
All right. So, what do you guys think the new Mars rover, Perseverance, also codenamed Percy, will accomplish during its mission, and do you believe it's worth the cost?
Okay, that's the second question Cole stole from me. I'm not playing this game anymore. That doesn't mean nothing.
By the way, I'm sorry about your phone. It was a requirement in order to break into it and write down all the questions that you had.
Oh.
Do we think it's worth the cost?
I have a hard time with the whole thing. What do we plan on gaining? What's the overall objective?
Okay, so it has a few. Number one is to collect soil samples that a rover retriever will go in 10 years and actually grab them and bring them home.
But I guess why? We've got mysteries on our own planet.
Yeah, but
because we need a new place to go.
We need a new home.
That's kind of what I'm.
Yeah,
that's why we're doing this. Let's be honest. Like, it is to colonize Mars.
It's definitely.
Yeah, buddy.
So, what's your thoughts,
We need to
Barry?
go back home. I'll be really true with you. I just saw some video that was from pictures of a new device that's up there right now.
Perseverance. That's him.
Yeah, and it is actually troublesome because, and I don't know why it's not everywhere, but there's definitely a hooded figure standing. Has anybody seen that yet? There is a hooded.
Did you see that, Cole? To you.
I did,
Yeah.
and you know what? I actually...
Here, I just sent it.
I am amazed. Okay, but that's the black and white version. Oh, Jesus Christ.
No. This is the color version.
Yeah, so the 4K,
Because
the one that was taken in 4K.
Was it Bernie? Did you see the one with Bernie or something?
No,
Okay.
this is the actual images they took, and it's 1,000 images made into a video.
For a
Send me that.
panorama.
For an,
Not now, but after the show,
yeah.
send it to me. I'll look at it.
And it's amazing that the sky is actually gray.
Yes.
Yeah, and that
Mars does have
has an
what's
atmosphere.
left of an atmosphere.
It has an atmosphere.
And it is, I honestly believe, a lot closer to ours than we think.
Well, we're going
doesn't
back
shock
home.
me, no.
You know, that's where we came from the first time. So we're just going back home just for so long. We already hanging.
Mars, Joe.
You know what?
Java.
And you know, it's funny because, you know, we're hearing about these stories and they're becoming more and more popular because these are the ones that don't want to be seen, don't want to be shown, don't want to be anything because they are whistleblowing on something that is, like, unbelievable, you know. We've heard so many things through the last 10 years on this, and even from, you know, and I always say on the show when we do the show, we talk about Edgar Mitchell, and Edgar Mitchell was talking about a moon that had a monolith on it, you know, of Mars that had a monolith. Well, how in the heck do we know there was a monolith there if we hadn't been there?
Well,
And it's the same thing when the rover went there. You know, I tell people, I said, when the rover first went there, and it died because it had a permanent battery, it was going to be sucking in stuff from the sun, and it would run forever, okay?
Right.
Well, it dies. It gets covered up by dust. Dust storm came on, it gets covered up with dust. Well, somebody went out there and wiped the damn thing off. We sure didn't send the crew up there. We didn't send the crew up there and say,
No,
hey,
I remember that.
We got to...
Okay, but at the same time, if your solar panels here get covered in snow, how does that snow eventually go away? It either melts, or if it's a powdered snow, it gets blown by wind.
Not if it's this weird
Mars
fake
has
snow.
wind.
Not a will.
And they're written like they're people.
One of them keeps twittering. He says, "Help! I'm stuck."
So, one of NASA's first...
one of them, it got stuck in some really soft sand and it can't move. It's been sitting there for a long time. The other one's still putting around.
Yeah, the Curiosity rover.
The Curiosity. Now, there was something interesting about the Curiosity. You know, they sent us back the pictures with our internet.
Hey, hold on.
The first day Curiosity was up there were hundreds of raw photos that were beamed back. Perseverance lands. It's been up there for, 4 or 5 days now? They have a total of 3 raw pictures have come out. 3.
What's up?
Why?
I'm saying
Why? What aren't they showing us? What do they want to look at first before anybody else gets a look at it?
But that happens all the time. It honestly does. I mean, think back in 1969 when Neil Armstrong, they cut his broadcast. You know they're monitoring and removing what? Oh my God! There's an alien. We can't let the public see that.
Have you gone back and ever looked at some of those original moon landing pictures? Some of the photos they took. They airbrushed stuff out, and it was done so horribly.
I've got.
I mean, you blow it up on your digital monitor these days, and you could see it. I mean, they actually look like they used an airbrush to block out sections of the moon in these photos. It was like, okay, what was on the moon they didn't want us to see?
Right.
What kind of defense thing could there be? You know, you could see whole sections. It looks like somebody took a Marks-a-Lot and just kind of crossed this section out.
Huh.
What are they
I
hiding?
said something I shouldn't have said, but I'm not going to talk about it now. After I said it, I went, oh, shit.
And Sherry wants to know, do we think the Mars landing ever happened, or is it another conspiracy? And I would say, I think it happened. I think we're actually up there.
I think it landed.
Yeah.
But
we're not the only ones up there anymore. There's like 6 or 7 countries alone that have things going around the moon.
So
Israel's up there, India's up there, and there was some other country it blew my mind when I found it. It was something like Pakistan has an orbiter around Mars or something. I'm not sure what country. Yeah. There's a lot of people going up there. I don't think they're able to hide stuff like they used to.
Well, the incredible thing when Mars first came, you could look at the pictures from the European Space Association and totally different pictures. Same picture, but they were a lot better pictures of the European Space Agency. So they've been hiding things for a long time. You know, that's like
the Chinese are the first. They just landed on the backside,
right?
With a little rover, didn't they?
They're trying to sneak.
And the first thing that they say, and they are the first ones to have a picture of a building, and that went over like a lead balloon.
Right.
You don't see that anymore. But I think I said it on this show or another show I was on. I have a witness that was taken to a moon base, and he describes it in his notes to a T, and it is exactly like the picture that was shown of the China thing, which I've never seen again after I saw it the one time.
Huh.
And he did this 8 months before it ever came out.
What's up?
So those 2 accounts, though,
they're
I honestly think these are actually going to be hilarious. So NASA's Perseverance, its first tweet from the planet was, "Hello world, my first look at my forever home." Hashtag countdown to Mars.
Saw that.
And then Curiosity rover states, "Bots before boots. So proud of you at NASA Persevere and the work you will do paving the way for the future astronauts and searching Mars for sites of ancient life."
What about the face on Mars?
So the president made a comment about how he was proud of them. And that he hopes that this one stays as safe as Curiosity has. And NASA's Perseverance again says, "I'm safe on Mars. Perseverance will get you anywhere." I love it when they give inanimate objects a personality. That's excellent.
Right.
Especially since there's a lot of kids.
Until the 2 rovers meet up and then they start breeding and creating a new species.
That's not a bad thing. Come on, everybody wants to get some.
We saw it in the movies.
The first baby rover of Mars.
Right. Yeah, the rover family. So I'm going to throw my question in now too, because it goes right in line with Cole's, but with a twist. So in relation to the rover, rover on Mars, do you think it's going to be seen as a threat if there's a galactic federation? Do you think the aliens will see us expanding our horizons, basically, into another planet?
No.
There's
one reason. Okay, it depends. If there are any type of weaponry on either rovers, then yes, it would be considered a threat. But without that, no.
But do they want the talking monkeys who destroyed our own planet moving into their backyard? I wouldn't.
Well, technically, this is still our backyard.
To be fair, is it their backyard?
No, that's what I'm saying. Technically, this is still our backyard. Okay?
Yeah, they're in our backyard.
Because if you actually think about where the closest alien race is supposedly supposed to be, right, and where they're supposed to be from, it's out of solar system. So therefore, our solar system would be still considered Earth's backyard.
Have you seen the movie Men in Black? Or Little Marble?
Yeah, but they came here first.
Huh?
They came here first.
Okay, there's got to be something going on in Mars. Okay,
so who's on whose property here?
Let's not go down. Red Rover. Anyway.
One of the things you got to remember about the Federation and everything else, they control what goes in and out of space.
Right.
And if you ever noticed that everything that goes into space, including the people who are working in Space Force and everything else, there is always the insignia that looks like a triangle of some sort, or almost like the insignia that is on Star Trek uniforms. And that is the approval that says that you've got approval to be able to come into space. If you don't, I don't think you're going to get very far.
And that's a good point.
To be fair, I don't think we're going to get very far anyways. I don't think at this point we have a chance of leaving our solar system.
Okay, but we do have a chance of colonizing Mars. We really do. Okay, so...
I could see that.
Depends on.
Well,
depends on how many rovers are up there when we get there.
Right. The rovers
when you look at some of the technology that they are releasing, and when you look at the new aircrafts and you look at the new things that are coming out in the next few years, it is something when they are talking about warp drive.
Right.
Warp drive is supposed to be on planes and be able to be used in 2 to 3 years. So we've already worked on warp drive. Now, warp drive is the same as what you're using in Ray Bradbury wrote about, and was in the Star Trek movies. So you're going to be able to warp to places that you would never have. And I'm sure that somewhere along the lines, before it becomes commercial and you see it on aircraft, they're talking about bringing it out in 2 to 3 years. It's already being used, and it's already being used somewhere else out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They can't even keep a complete turbine engine in the air. Okay.
Well, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this. You've seen the things fly in and out. The S4 was able to go into the stratosphere. That was several years ago in the 60s. Just imagine, do you think that we still shoot things up via a rocket, or is that a show so that they don't know that we actually have things leaving Earth and going into Earth? Because the XB-19, whatever it was, that was seen, was never launched. It flew into space, would fly around space, and you would get it on your satellite info, and it would come back in 2 weeks, and you never heard anything about it. It was out in space flying around, wasn't it? And it came back.
I'm sure we're up there putting around doing something that nobody knows about.
Exactly. It's just the people that, what happens is it's unaware. No one talks about it. You've got to look for this stuff. You've got to search for this stuff. So when you start seeing it, that's why everybody's saying, well, we got to wake the sleepers up. Because there are so many people that say, well, that's impossible. We can't have that.
Right.
And that's where it is. And that's where most of the people are going to suffer. It's just like saying, that's going to lead me into my next question about the underground dumbs, but when people hear about that kind of stuff and you hear that, that's hard for people to understand and believe. Think about it. That is life-altering stuff.
So this is directed towards you, Barry, and I already kind of answered it in the chat room, but Sherry wants to know, do you think we need to fear the aliens, or are they trying to help us? In my opinion, they're not here to help the talking monkeys. They're here to protect the planet. That's what they're after.
Yeah, I look at it in two ways, Eric and Sherry. I think there are certain beings here that work for the good, and I think it's just like here on Earth, we have very bad people that do very bad things. No different than aliens. So there are races here that have been here for a long time, and they are doing horrendous things.
Right.
And, of course, there are the other side that is working to a better way. And I always remember, like when they first came, back when they met with Eisenhower, that was the deal where, the real good people said, we're going to give you lightning, free energy, and all that crap. And they all said, hey, guess what? I have coal. I have woods. I do all this stuff. You're going to make me suffer. I don't want you. Bring me the guy who's going to
give me
about
weapons.
War and weapons and all the other stuff.
But
that causes us.
Here's the thing, though. So the ones that are down here doing horrendous things, if they were really concerned about the human population, I would think the Galactic Federation, the Consortium, whatever you want to call them, would be controlling that. Now, there's still supposed to be this alien war going on that we're caught in the middle of, although I haven't seen any real evidence of that lately, because the timeline of that was supposed to be 2017 to 2021. Well, we're in 2021. But, what's going to happen after this year if that said alien war is still going on?
Well, I think that it's that's that's an interesting point, and I'll give you my theory about that. We've heard of a lot of things with these loud booms in areas and everything else, and they started about 2017,
right?
And they've been continuing through all these years, and they're getting worse and worse. But there are so many underground bases and so many different things and so many underground domes that is actually the reason why you're hearing these booms. And that is a battle going on. And we hear today of people that are military people who are talking about being injected and eating certain foods and everything else that help them fight against large alien creatures that are in these dumps.
And
put there.
You've got the tall white aliens that are supposed to. The last I knew were still in. What's the Air Force base in Nevada? It's not Area 51.
Nellis.
Yeah, Nellis. I think
Nellis is Area 51.
Yeah, well, it is basically.
No, but there's one right outside of Vegas. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's Nellis or not. I thought, is it Holloman?
Yeah.
So I do think it's I do think.
Holloman, yeah.
I do think it's Holloman, but they're supposed to be the white alien race. They're tall. They're like 7 to 10 foot tall. They're white. They look humanoid, and they're supposed to be in Holloman. I think it is Holloman. Whichever base is outside of Vegas in Nevada, and it's
Gordon Cooper, the astronaut, was the one that said he was at Holloman, and he saw a UFO land on the airstrip.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
They got out and met with him, and there was video footage of it. And that, he's an astronaut.
Yeah.
Gordon Cooper.
Right. No relation that I'm aware of. Although I wouldn't deny it if it was.
On something that was said a minute ago, I wanted to say something, but people keep saying, "Oh, well, the Galactic Federation wouldn't let them do that." People keep saying that, and I just always flash. Yeah, we got an organization like that on Earth here. It's called the United Nations,
right?
And they're supposed to take care of everything. And you know what? They don't do anything.
Yeah. No, but
it's the most worthless organization on the planet. They think they're in charge of everything, but they're not. So maybe the Galactic Federation, maybe they mean well, but maybe it's just smoke and mirrors, just like our United Nations.
There are some that sit on the. I believe there's some that sit on the Federation that need to be removed, just like anything like here. But I think they're keeping house. There's also a thing that since humans are involved, it takes it a little bit out of their hands a little bit because they're waiting for humankind to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right, because that's where the sleepers and everything else come in. If you don't understand what's happening and you don't really believe in all this stuff, when it comes to the point when you're seeing children coming out of underground dumps and you're seeing all these things of generations of people that are, and we're not hearing about it in the news and everything else, there's reasons why you don't hear about it. Every once in a while it leaks. And then what do you hear? You hear that, they were put there by the cabal and for ET purposes. And for the cabal, they're slaves. And for ET, they could be slaves, but they're also food.
Okay, well then I got a really weird question to ask there. So, if you were an alien, okay? So, if you were an alien and you wanted to somehow infiltrate the world, what do you think the best way to do it would be?
I would go on a talk show called S4 and hang out with people, get them used to me.
That's why I'm here every week.
No, honestly, if you really wanted to take over the world, you would go take over the UN. Or
I wouldn't say take over, but I mean infiltrate enough that you would be able to learn customs, learn things, figure out everything you'd need to know about.
Well, and then if you look at what we're actually talking about, and you're looking at it, and if you have taken over a government, let's say you are taking over a Senate or a House of Representatives and other high-ranking officials, and you worked at it for 50 years.
So how do we not know Kim Jong-un isn't an alien? But then you have to look at the Queen of England.
Look at the cloning programs.
I think you guys are looking at this the wrong way.
Okay.
If they were going to try to blend it, let's say that they could blend in, but not going to try to take over a government.
Yeah, that's
They're
what I'm
going
just
to
saying.
create a corporation. They're going to have a business that has a product that everybody wants.
That's what's wrong with Walmart.
I don't know, Google or Amazon.
Yeah, like Google.
Or something. You're going to start a private corporation. You're going to make billions of dollars, and instead of taking over the government, you're going to do it the way the Americans do it, and you're going to use money, and you're going to buy the government off.
Yeah, which you already have. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is. I mean,
so
I think you guys are all nuts.
So Zuckerberg
hold on. You're all nuts. You got problems here. I have been telling you for 2 months my wife is an alien. She just asked you how to infiltrate our world and you gave an answer. What the hell?
Your wife is a rake.
Yeah, I mean,
better than a hoe.
Now we know if she leaves that she's going to infiltrate the government.
Oh, man. Okay.
You'd invent something like Facebook so you could find all about the Americans and everything you needed to know about the world.
I knew try and start telling people that you are the inventor
and you get those stupid humans to tell
you
not gonna believe everything about themselves, take pictures of everything. You wouldn't need to send probes.
It might send probes when they're going to get
You'd be able to, you wouldn't have to go down and put tracking chips in their necks and arms anymore. You just use their phones.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
Right.
And, and then they'd have other places like underground bases.
You really own this
they're
underground
running around
bases
just having a party in.
Well, so you know what? We're going to talk about underground bases in April. That'll be one of the first topics we'll bring up in April, I think. Is we'll talk about these underground bases. I think Dulce, New Mexico is probably the main one, honestly.
Oh, I think, there's...
I think the main one is probably one we haven't heard of.
Exactly.
Possibly.
They're probably more on the East Coast than they are on the ones that we know more about on the West Coast.
I know.
I would hide out up in Canada.
Just saying, Al Capone's caves might have been
No one
something
really
a little
lives in
different.
Canada. They just got a lot of wide open spaces and mosquitoes. So
no.
Yeah, they got
no.
room
You don't think so?
Yeah. They could fly around in the sky. No one would see them.
No, that's Montana.
That's a lot of places, man.
Jesus Christ.
So Joe, what's your first question tonight? We haven't even gotten to your questions yet.
Well, okay, no, give us your third question.
My first question, Cole stole already. Let me look at my list here. My second question. Oh, wait a minute, Cole stole that one too. Let me look on here. Let me see.
You like it?
I must have something he hasn't hacked into. Okay, let's take it. Let me see. No,
he's looking at the stone tablet now.
Okay, let's take it to another direction that the show usually runs in. I was thinking, I was watching a show the other day, and they were messing with ghost boxes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, am I the only one that thinks it's ridiculous to have a machine that scans hundreds of radio frequencies and channels per second rather than just monitoring one station? You put it on one place on the radio dial. It'd be easier for spirits or ghosts to just communicate through that one channel rather than
you mean one that's
running
only
through
static,
all the channels,
right?
because I swear I hear music and ads for cars and stuff sometimes when people are using these things.
So here's the deal. It depends on which box you buy. And so what you're describing is just white noise. And some groups just use a white noise generator. And that, to me, is just as effective because they're manipulating electronics. It's all they're doing.
Yeah.
But if you do that, if you have it on one station, say, I like the idea, you get an old radio, you dial up a place where there's no station, you get your white noise, and then if something comes through, people are going, oh, well, that's just some radio frequency.
That was Ozzy Osbourne.
You can knock all that skepticism out.
Right.
Yes. So the basis for what you're saying is going across the entire band, you are hitting radio stations.
Right.
So the sounds you are hearing could be just the radio stations. It could honestly just be random, and it is able to make words out of it. But if you're only listening to one station that is complete static,
right,
any radio only has a certain amount of area it can cover.
Right.
If it's full static, then it automatically, it has to be them manipulating it. There is no other explanation for why something else is
all it is a white noise generator in that.
But that's why the spirit boxes, Joe's right. I honestly have zero faith in them because, yes, it could be something manipulating, but it's probably not. It's probably the fact that they're made that way.
It seems to me, say a spirit from the 1870s, and you get this white noise, like you put it on one radio station where there's no broadcast on that particular frequency. It seems like it'd be easier for a spirit to figure out how to talk through that one frequency than to, let me see, they've got thousands of frequencies here. I'll get ahead of the game, and I'll try to manipulate this station, that station, and this station down the dial as it sweeps by, and I'll be able to make a word. That just seems, not all your spirits are Einsteins.
But a lot of your radio generating frequency ghost boxes, a lot of them have gone to, I don't know how they do it, but reversed.
Yeah, but you're still going to hear a word.
You're still going to hear words.
Well, that's like playing an album backwards. You're still going to hear stuff.
And the thing is,
that ain't going to do it.
If we did it the way Joe's talking, that it would, all you would actually have to do is take away the antenna.
Yeah.
It has a 5 meter radius at the most then.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If you took off the antenna, there's no way it can pick up an actual station unless you're at the station.
Right.
I never use an antenna. I never pull the antenna up on a ghost box. One of the things that I will say is that the frequencies do go by very quickly. When you have a spirit that speaks, and it speaks a sentence to you, and it covers more than 4, as it's speaking and it's doing a sentence.
And each word is different. It's a different tone.
Yes, what it is. Right. But it's the same voice. It's in the same voice that you see. It's used at that frequency. Here's the thing that I think that we miss the most on a ghost box. As we use these ghost boxes, one of the things we don't pay attention to is the frequency channel that they mostly speak on. I think that there's a frequency out there. If we would study the frequencies that these things came in on, I think that then we would be able to develop a generator that would be able to scan these 3 to 5 or 6 frequencies and then be able to see it more often. That would be a more credible device. And why they haven't gone to that, I don't know. Maybe I just gave somebody a great, brilliant idea.
That's what I was thinking, exactly what you said. I have a scanner here that scans hundreds of frequencies, and when the police or the fire or something talks, it stops on that frequency.
Yep.
And I can lock that frequency in and say, I know I'm going to get voices on this frequency.
Right.
You know, there's an ambulance talking to a fire department on this frequency. I can lock that one frequency in. And then it'll scan through a whole bunch of things, but then whenever they talk on that one frequency, boom, it stops.
Back to it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need to, that's where the ghost box needs to be developed to. It needs to be able to identify the
Hopefully we just gave some engineer a great idea and somebody will come up with that.
Exactly, because that's the key. So if it only scans those frequencies, then you are guaranteed not to hear anything else other than spirit language. Spirit communications.
Hey, now Sherry wants to know what we think of dowsing rods. If elbows are firmly on the table, not shaking. I don't have a lot of faith in dowsing rods.
I love dowsing rods.
I've seen a lot of the dowsing rod things, and I've seen people, and they'll go, oh, look, they're moving.
Right.
But, you know, even on a camera, you could see hands move, you could see heartbeats, you could... I mean, it's just... I doubt it.
It's just like a Ouija board, you know. Anyone can be pushing the planchette around. Anyone can be moving their own dowsing rods. Now, if you're actually using them personally in their work, great. I just,
I think it has to do with the person being grounded.
Right, absolutely.
You have to work at a craft, and you have to be able to be grounded well enough to be able to use them. They're interesting devices. I mean, the first time I saw it was an applewood stick that my grandmother used to use, and she was a dowser, and she would douse for water, and that thing would almost come out of her hands when she was over it, and they would drill a well right wherever she was, and she always hit water. That's what they were originally used for. A dowsing rod.
Grandma lived over a lake.
Yeah, right.
An underground lake.
Yeah, Grandma lived in West Virginia. So
I think it's just like anything. I think the dowsing rods may work with some people who are doing it right and have the right intentions, and they've practiced at it, rather than just someone doing. It's like when we were kids. We had a Ouija board. The thing never moved until my brother Mike got on the board. It didn't move all over, and it'd spell things like, you know, Joe's a butthead. It was like, what? You know.
But you know, it's fun when it's funny. You know, I've had a friend of mine that was interested in dowsing rods, and he asked me to teach him how to use the dowsing rods correctly and everything else. And it is a lot about your intent and how well you're grounded. And so when you are using them, it's using an energy, and it is communicating with spirits. It's amazing. This guy worked similar to Arnold. He works for the Mammoth Cave area in a park in the national park system, and he used dowsing rods to find graves, and they are extremely effective in finding graves. And you can tell if it's a male, you can tell if it's which way the head's facing, which way the feet are facing, and they are almost 100% right. And he was finding these graves, and they were digging up, and then they decided, hey, well, you've proved us that these things are here. We're going to go out and buy ground-penetrating radar now. So they went out and bought ground-penetrating radar to be able to continue to find graves and so forth up there. So, yes, the devices can work in several different ways. You know?
Theoretically, a human being, we're very electrical.
Right.
Exactly.
There's a lot of electrical current running through a human body. That's how your heart beats. That's how your brain works. And, you know, if you're holding two pieces of metal in your hand that can swing, those are almost like antenna. So the basic science is there if you learn to use it correctly.
That's correct. It's all about intent, being grounded, and using the force of the energy of the earth, because there is an earth energy also. So that's why there's so many people that grab them and they hold them, and they do this. But sometimes I can grab them and I'll say, where's so-and-so sitting? And just go and right to them. You know, it's just the difference of the way that it is. You know, they do quite a lot of different things.
See, I've never tried.
I do like them a lot. I do.
I've
if
got
you're using
dowsing-
them properly, I like them.
I've got dowsing rods at the house. It's really never been a gift I've looked into using.
I've never tried because
Yeah,
I'm a
well,
shaky
you have
person.
the gift to be. Yeah, you have the gift to be able to use it too.
I honestly, I can't hold any faith in them at all.
Well, whatever you do, you don't use them when you're standing in a 40-mile-an-hour wind either. I'll tell you that much.
All kinds of answers.
But Barry, like what you just said about
or an electrical
asking
storm.
where so and so is sitting, and they point to him.
Yeah.
Whenever we make a thought about someone else in a room, your body automatically adjusts to it subconsciously.
Right.
Yeah, it could be subconscious thought.
So it could be your subconscious actually moving the rods, like moving your body to move the rods, because they're held at an unstable equilibrium.
To test it,
it actually could be.
Like, and I'm not saying it's not real.
Spirit.
What I'm saying is, I honestly don't know if you need them.
Right.
I honestly think you could actually use your fingers and do it.
You could.
We have abilities that we are not attuned to. A lot of us are attuned to those abilities. It's the situation of becoming those and knowing what the difference is and how to block certain energies and everything else. This is not, there's a science to everything. Mm-hmm. And there are things that, yes, our subconscious is extremely powerful that our conscious mind is.
Now, I think the perfect example of them being used accurately would be like finding water. You don't subconsciously know where the water pool is.
Mm-hmm. You do, though, because if the water in your system combines with the minerals in the water in that system, and it would pull you closer towards it.
Exactly.
No, I mean, scientifically,
right.
Subconsciously, it still could be at work.
Many scientists have said that with the amount of water that people normally use them in, with the amount of rainfall that is in those areas, you have 9 out of 10 chances of hitting water.
Well, I mean, in Washington, they just flip it all over the place all the time.
Oh, no, in Washington, we just follow Bigfoot.
Anywhere you're going to find water.
Yeah, but like
one of the things that it was important to use because there has been several people that have tried who have used every technology known to man to be able to find water, oil, or anything type of that thing, and they pull dry wells all the time. But when they use a dowser or something like that, that well never runs dry.
Okay.
That happened at a park I last worked at Schaefer. They were putting in a well, and the first guy that come out and said, "Oh, you just dig right here. The well's here." Well, that water came up bad and had sulfur smell in it and all that. The next guy they had come out used dowsers and walked out a ways. Said, "No, you dig right here," and they went down and they have good water without having to treat it or anything. It was just straight out of the ground. It doesn't run out.
Yeah, it won't run out.
Yeah.
Okay, Arnold, what's your next question?
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes off of the first question I had. And if this comes from my wife and I just took a drive yesterday, and we were driving out between PL and Raymond, and we went by a small, I'll say, old cemetery, because you could tell they some time ago went in and cleared out some trees that were in it and stuff, and it caught my attention. So, and I've just been thinking about that cemetery. So my question is there a chance that there's something in that cemetery that would draw a person there when they've never been to that cemetery? And how should that person handle that situation?
So there's a couple.
There's some of it's kind of mind-blowing, in fact.
But there's a couple answers to that. One, if you're already sensitive and You don't know it. Not everybody knows what kind of abilities they've got. Not everybody knows they're sensitive. And spirits know who's sensitive and who's not. If you've got that open channel, then by all means, they can say, "Hey, I'm over here," and pull you in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At the same time,
okay, you're assuming that the people are being drawn to the area because of the body that's put in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't it be that the energy that's in that area isn't from the dead body, but it's from all the people that were around during a funeral, and that psychic energy of all their emotions is imprinted in this place, and that's what's drawing people?
Not generally.
well, I mean, I'm just thinking like
I like the idea.
I like that idea.
Well, yeah, like I kind of want to answer.
The energy wouldn't be there all the time. The
No,
energy
because,
dissipates.
okay,
that kind of energy dissipates.
So that's a different kind of energy. So you have 20 people that show up for a funeral, right?
Mm-hmm.
The energy will be there for a minute, but it's not like a spirit's energy.
I think that would
Yeah,
depend
but those
on how
are
the
pretty strong
connection that the
emotions
person had
that
to
are
the
imprinted
person
on the
around.
area.
Right, but they usually dissipate over time. That kind of
Not
energy,
as strong as energy of death.
right?
That's the energy that is continual, and
So,
But wouldn't
Right,
that
but
also
you-
depend on the person that was at the funeral?
It would.
it would.
Because like if you had someone that was attuned with their energy and like full of it, wouldn't theirs last a lot longer than anyone else's?
So like another sensitive, or
Yeah.
somebody whose twin died. That would be a
Yeah,
prime example because
absolutely.
because twins are tied. So yes,
So part of their energy would still be there.
it would.
'Cause it's the last
In
moment
that
to see
case, but how often does that happen?
A lot. No, I don't know.
No, I'm talking about
I'll-
I'm talking about the general cemetery where you've got 20, 30, maybe even 100 people that show up for a funeral.
Okay.
Generally,
Okay, but with what he was talking about,
Right.
that sounds almost like a personal cemetery.
well,
Sorry, I don't
it was a
understand.
small one, and it looked like these trees. The trees that were cut down were probably 60 to 100 years old. The way I've been around trees and stuff and can determine that. But I'm wondering if that small thing and those people going in and saying, "Hey, we need to clean this up to show that this is a cemetery." With them doing that, clearing out the trees and opening that up, could that have released, something like that to say, "Hey, we're," like you said, Eric, "we're over here," or Barry said, "Hey, we're over here."
Well,
there
the other
is
thing-
energies in trees and all that stuff, and I've been in a lot of the cemeteries that have been cleaned up. I've seen things that I've helped find cemeteries for people, and they've gone and cleaned them up, their family cemeteries and everything else, and it seems like they're more at peace at that point. What I will tell you, and this is when you need to cue the Twilight Zone up when Bear starts talking about this, is that there is a part of the, let's call it a resurrection energy, or I don't even want to use the term resurrection energy. There are people that have lived past lives before.
right?
And when they are in a cemetery, whether it be an older cemetery, they may be pulled to an area to speak or talk to because their bones are in that area.
Ooh.
okay.
So that is something that you need to, you have to remember something, that there are not, reincarnation and all these things are part of it. We are energy. And if we came back into another life or into this thing, you have to remember that your bones are sacred and you have a draw to those bones. And they were yours at one point, and you're going to be drawn to them like a fish out of water because they were yours once at one point. That's why people have the experiences of past, I've never been to this house, but I remember everything about it and all the other type of things or things that have happened in the past.
that was me in Warrisburg, and I've only told that on the show one time, because I usually don't think about it. But Warrisburg kind of keyed. I've been to Warrisburg, which is why I gave them a shout out in the beginning of the show, because Warrisburg, Germany is awesome. I miss it actually, but yeah, that's a prime example. I actually went. I drove right to the Warrisburg Castle. Never been there before. If you've ever been to Warrisburg, Germany, it's huge. It's impossible. And I drove right to the castle.
Yeah, you would never find it. Yeah, no. You just knew where it was.
I knew where it was, and I knew exactly where my bedroom was, but I couldn't go there because they had it blocked off. But I knew that was my room, and it was on top of a pier. Up here.
And it sounds strange, and most people don't. That's part of the belief systems, or
you sound crazy.
The knowledge. It sounds crazy, but it is a fact.
Right.
That's all I can tell you.
That's one of those things. That's one of those things in the depths of your soul that you've been there, and that was your room, and that's how it was with me. And I'd never been there. I went back like 2 or 3 more times because we were stationed there. I was stationed in Kitzigan, which was about 30 minutes from Warrisburg.
You're drawn there. You
absolutely.
Cannot, it's like I tell people, there are people that come to Octagon Hall that have, Octagon Hall's property has been there for a long time, and they are actually drawn there. They come, they don't go back so often, they start having dreams of it. They start seeing things. They know things about it. They know places about it. Why would that be? Why do they find it like that is my home? That is where I should be. I feel at peace there.
Yep.
That is stuff that happened that makes them want to come back there. And there's areas all over the world like that. When you find one, there's a reason for it.
Yep.
Now, Arnold, though, when you were talking about this cemetery, the first thing that came to you was talking about the trees in the cemetery. Not about the cemetery itself, but about the trees. Now, you being a former park ranger, do you believe that you were drawn to that cemetery more for the trees than you were the actual spirit of people?
No, I think it was a spirit because when I looked back real quick at it, that's when I noticed the trees. But right at first, I was like, just driving down the road, and all of a sudden my head goes that way, and I was like, oh, that's an old cemetery. Probably might be cool to go in and see. And then it was like more drawn as I go past it, and that's when I noticed the trees, like they had been in and cleared it out, found.
Right. And when you got to it, and did you go to the area that pulled you the most?
No, I just kept driving.
Yeah, well, if you'd have gotten out, you'd have probably found a tree stump or something there that they had cleared out, because you might have been laid underneath that tree.
Yeah, the tree collected the spirit of the person, maybe.
The energy, some of the energy of it.
Yeah.
That's why there always have been trees around cemeteries.
Aren't they doing that up in the state of Washington right now? They're taking dead bodies and they're composting them and planting them in the ground.
Yes, they are.
I heard about that.
It's a tree pod.
So,
tree pods.
Arnold was a tree.
No.
That's why I took out that. Arnold was a tree.
Well, see, this is the thing, though, that I believe about past lives. I think that every single person that has lived a past life and comes back again, they're drawn to an aspect of their past life. And it makes them decide either a career path or something to do with their next life.
Now, with past lives, here's where I draw the line. I do believe humans can only come back as humans. I don't think you can come back as an ant. I don't think you can come back as an inanimate object.
I do what I want.
And I agree with you 100%, Eric. If you want to remain spirit, you can be roam everywhere you want to.
Absolutely.
If you come back and you are no longer spirit energy, then you are tied into your vessel, and you are tied there till death again until that energy is released again.
And real quick, so we are about to go to break, but Sherry, you have a question. Do I like apps? Do we like apps? No, I hate apps. I think apps, to me, are the most manipulative of any paranormal equipment. Just my opinion.
And you'll never see me use an app. I've seen a lot of people use them. Mm-hmm. I don't particularly like them because of the fact that most of the people who have created an app are ghost people, and they make money off of them.
Right.
Not just that, but they run off an algorithm.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. They do.
And again, they're on a cell phone or a
tablet, computer.
Tablet. And you're already manipulated because you got Google on there. You've got, you say, "Oh wow!"
You're creating your own. You're creating your own EMF.
Right.
Or,
No, not just that. I'm talking spirit apps. Now, EMF, that's a given because you have an EMF meter and you have a cell phone in your pocket. Your EMF's going to go off. So how can a cell phone EMF meter even be accurate in its own right? But you've got a spirit box app. You know what? So Google picks up. Hey, So Joe, did you ever work here? And your app can already know where you're at, so it's going to say, "Yep, I worked in a barn." Oh, wow! I'm in a barn. Oh my God! No, they're too easily manipulative.
The only two apps I would actually use during an investigation.
Huh?
Yeah,
the only two.
It's no different than Siri. It's no different than Contronus, whatever the hell you want to make it.
Cortana.
These things, you ask them what the weather's like, they're going to tell you it's 62 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
They are.
I wish.
Those algorithms
but that's the thing.
Always listening.
There are some apps that do come in handy on an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
For example, as Barry just said, the weather app.
Right.
You want to know what the weather is while you're doing your investigating, what your exact temperature outside is.
Yeah, perfect.
If you can. And as well as Google Maps is a great one to use.
Well, GPS and things like that, but I wouldn't use...
Absolutely.
I would never
anything
use...
that's advertised as a ghost app or anything like that, definitely not. But, there are useful apps to use.
There are. But
Flashlight.
anything with a spirit box, anything with an EMF meter, no. I'll use physical devices for that. And with that, it is break time. It is our last break of the night. When we come back, what were we talking about? We were talking about past lives. I think we'll carry on that conversation a little bit because there's more to that.
All right.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Break. You're going down.
host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4. Oh, God, if y'all only heard about what we talked about during the break. Anyway, so we are on the last hour of Roundtable. Again, next week we're talking black-eyed children. So, past lives. We came to the top of the hour talking about past lives. And, deja vu.
That would suck.
What?
Imagine that your last past life was
Right.
Spanish flu. Like,
Oh, that would suck.
the one before that was plague.
Right? You keep bouncing around from, oh my God, it's a plague. Oh, come back 100 years later, holy shit, what the hell?
Okay, seriously, that guy needs to stop being resurrected then.
Right? I think I would stay in the afterlife. But anyway, so that's what we were talking about was, so when you pass over, you have the option of, well, hey, just staying on the other side, or getting back in line to be reborn.
Do you think everyone has that option?
Nope.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter who they are.
I don't.
Well, it depends
I
on
don't
your.
think-
So it depends on your
I don't
belief
think so.
system. If you're Christian, if you're Catholic, you believe you either go to purgatory or heaven or whichever. Or some beliefs believe that you stay in kind of like a holding pattern, I guess, and wait for the judgment day.
I do believe some of them are just absolutely destroyed. There is nothing left. But I believe that's done by what you do on Earth.
So, like, yours. Okay, so I guess I'm going to throw out Hitler.
Based on how evil you are, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So, I think that's where karma comes into play. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's where karma comes. I don't think you're destroyed, but say you were an asshole. Say you were like a billionaire that did whatever the hell you wanted to and destroyed poverty-stricken people. Are you going to come back the same? Oh, absolutely not. You're going to come back as a poverty, in poverty, with
Living on Skid Row.
living on Skid Row.
Yeah.
Well, you're
And-
assuming that karma's in charge.
Karma is in charge.
Cremated.
I mean,
Maybe it's not.
okay. What do you think?
There's an awful lot of people that keep coming back, and they're complete assholes.
Every single
No,
time.
those are just new assholes.
Just new ones.
I think that
Potentially.
I think there's certain people that are that do come back continually, and they're here to help with others and to teach lessons and so forth like that. I think that there's certain ones that reach a Godhead point and they can come back. They come back all the time. It depends on where you are on your spiritual development.
But that's their choice.
Yeah.
That's absolutely their choice.
But I
They come
believe
back.
there are a certain few that the world does not, the universe itself does not give them a choice.
And that's possible. I'm not going to argue that.
I mean,
that
the
is
spirit
possible.
is destroyed, and I think it's because when your spirit leaves your body,
Right.
it's fractured. There's nothing left. It can't come back.
In those cases.
Yeah.
Now, this is where
Wait
deja
a
vu
minute, are
comes
you
in.
speaking specifically somebody who dies completely buried and they come back in a new body? Or are you talking about people that die and come back into the same body? Because I've had that happen to me. I was clinically dead for a while.
Like near
But I
you
definitely
got
went to
it in
another
the-
place. I definitely went to another
the-
place,
Right.
and I made the choice of coming back.
Right.
So, with that, I think you're the same. Well, obviously, you're still Joe. You're still Pointy Stick Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's different. Because you didn't fully die. You did, physically on this plane, obviously.
Yeah.
But you made that choice and the powers that be said, okay, go ahead.
What was that show you watched?
Yeah, I made the choice to come back.
Right.
I can remember making that choice, and wham, I'm back in my body.
Now, the ones that don't learn, that come back, and they have deja vu. So I think there's two trains of thought to that, and I'm really on the fence of which of those I believe. One is that there's an alternate reality, and it's your other self in the other reality that did or is doing the same thing you're doing now.
Multiverse.
Right. Then there's the one I pretty much kind of follow is the belief that you actually did the same thing in a former life. And obviously, if you're doing the same thing, you didn't learn the lesson you were supposed to learn in your former life. You're doing it again. And that's what deja vu is. What's your thoughts?
I don't know, because mine are weird. My moments of deja vu are weird. So,
Okay.
because I could have been here before, except for the fact that I have deja vu here at home.
Yeah, it's not from
And-
a past
right.
life. It's just
It's
I think
never
we're
been
mixing
here.
up two different things
No.
here.
So
I don't
but-
think deja vu has anything to do with the past life.
Deja vu to me is.
It also doesn't have to do with the location you're in. It has to do with what you're doing.
It's not me though.
No?
No,
Nope.
I think deja
I see
vu is a
things that
dimensional
walk.
slip.
I see things. For example, I saw a cat here. There was never,
Yeah.
will never be a cat inside this house.
No.
But one walked
But
into
do
the
you-
back rooms.
But that's not deja vu.
It is though because of the way it was presented.
Yeah, because you
'Cause,
feel like
I've
you've
done it
already
before,
seen it
too.
and done it before. And
So
that's a-
you were actually in somebody else's body seeing it.
No, you were in your own. I honestly,
But my guitar was hanging there in both instances.
Oh, wow, that's weird.
I think
Okay.
that those are
Like,
dimensional
it's-
slips where you are seeing two separate realities within the same reality. Eh? And when we get deja vu, that's what I believe it is that you are seeing yourself in different dimensional versions of yourself.
Well, that's fucked up. Why am I always fat? That's not fair.
You know, that's an interesting point, because when you talk about doppelgangers, you talk about some of the other things.
Right.
I have personally know of and have seen myself. I will not go to that store. I've driven by a store, saw my pickup truck, saw me walking out of the store, getting in my pickup truck while I was watching it. That's a totally different thing. That is a cross-universal thing. I have also seen myself living with a dog and a van and doing something very different on the West Coast. And I am not a West Coast fan, but I know that I have something over there on the West Coast, and it's another dimension. I personally believe at this point right now that I live all my lives all at once. So I end up finding ex-people that I have lived with several times before or know them as friends. They become those close people to me that are very close, even part of my paranormal team. We call brothers, and I have some that I've been with in past lives before. That's just, and we all know that. It's just we're here to do a certain thing, and that's what we do. And it's very interesting when you talk about how people are. There are certain people that believe that they are asleep in Christ until the coming of Christ. I think that's probably one of the things that is probably the most worst thing for me, because go to a funeral home and watch the face of the person who has died, who has believed that all their life, and you will see that they don't look very happy at the moment.
Nope.
Because of the fact that, there are things that do come, and, you got to remember something. This body that we have is a slick machine. It has all the senses. It has everything. What are they? We are recorders. We record things. The mind has everything else. But when you die, that mind is nothing. It rots. The heart, it rots.
Right.
The only thing that lives is the soul. But what has the soul done? It has used all the technology that it has, the nerves in your fingertips, everything, to remember everything. So I think some people, you can go back to the source, if you will, which would be conscious mind. And conscious mind is a cesspool. You can go in there and you're just basically downloaded. Everything is there, and then someone dips a thing up. It says, "Okay, this is going here," and you're going to go there. And in other places, there are times when you can't get to the place that you need to go yet. There is a holding area that you're waiting for that day, which could be 3,000 years.
But
so
with that,
so where do you go? You go back to the areas that you frequented quite a lot, the things that you remember, and you are basically in a time warp.
right?
That's what ghosts are. You know, you are in a time warp and you're living that life.
But I think there's two kinds.
They're ghosts.
There's two kinds of ghosts. There's the ones that do come back by choice, and I have no doubt about that because I've actually talked to a spirit that explained it to me that way. That he had the choice. He was and I've told this story on the show before, but he was a World War II bomber pilot that crashed in Germany and died in Germany. And he had the choice of going across and getting in line, basically, to be reborn. Yeah. But he chose to stay. He can go back whenever he wants, but once he's there, he kind of has to stay there. But he chose to stay in Rothenburg, Rothenburg, and haunt the bakery. That was his choice. He had fun.
Yes.
He had fun. When the Germans came in to get their broaching, he would mess with them. And that's what he did. He enjoyed it. That would be Joe.
Now, in my belief system...
I'd mess with him.
In my belief system, I think everyone has, for lack of a better term, a soul circle. Okay? You have a specific group of people. Whether it be 2, 4, 5, 8, whatever your specific group of people are. The amount of souls that it takes to create that bond. Okay? And I think that no matter what you do, and no matter where you come back, you are destined to meet this amount of people. In whatever form that it is that you meet them. And throughout your existence, you are destined to meet up these people in different forms, whether it be this time you're married or this time you're best friends.
And those would be what you would call soulmates. Soulmate does not mean you were married. It means you were best friends. It can mean you were brother or sister.
Exactly.
But all a soulmate is somebody that has been together in some way, shape, or form, whether you're enemies or not, every lifetime.
But I do believe that in a lot of cases that it's more than just one person. I think that they're, depending on the
having
group,
more than one soulmate,
there is upwards to like 10, 15, 20, who knows, of these people that impact your life in some meaningful way. And they are destined to meet you and help you through whatever this piece of that path was.
I don't think you'll always meet, though.
No, I think
could that possibly be the strangers that are always trying to friend me on Facebook?
It could be.
You know, I
because it's not working. I get rid of them right away.
It's not that they're to help you; it's you to help them. Some of them come into your life, and they are in your life for a short period of time because they needed something, and you are more prone to help that one because you have that feeling and you say, yes, I want to help you.
I think in certain cases it's something
and then they go away. I mean, they can become instant enemies of yours later. But what you did is you gave them that opportunity to be able to find what they needed.
In certain times, in certain cases, it could be something as simple as you smiled at the right person at the right time in the right situation. Like, I mean...
Right, exactly. But there are the ones that come back that you know that are...
You were destined to find for some reason.
Yeah, extremely dear and near. And it's tough when something like that comes along and you're already living part of your life.
Like you said, there are people that you meet, and when you meet them, it's almost like you've always known them.
Right.
Yes.
People talk about that, but there's also the people that you'll be sitting there and they'll walk up and you'll meet them in something, and the hair on the back of your neck stands up, and you just know there's something wrong with him.
Because they killed you.
Someone evil from your past life.
Yeah.
It was one of your enemies in the past life. Maybe
Right.
that could be it.
Right. And and there's some people
Well,
that are just evil, and they're going to be. I think there's some people that can be evil in every life. Maybe not necessarily. I think if you go by the karmic law aspect, where you're reborn, the opposite of if you were fully evil, it doesn't necessarily work that way. That's just one theory. But
the hardest. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think? So, do you think Hitler, for example, is going to come back
No.
as just an evil person again?
No, you know what I believe that there are spirits that have come here to perpetrate evil and were used, and they don't come back. But the part we're missing on this whole thing, when people talk about spirit attachments and people talk about other things, that through your lifetimes, that there may be spirits that you have dealt with in the past that are no longer in a physical body. They're spirits, and they come back and want to harm you and do things to you.
Oh, believe me,
that is the, and they have that ability to do that, and that's why you have to be very aware of what is going on around you. Have the certain type of protections, deal with the things that they are, because you do have people that have done terrible things, and they are in spirit form. Some of them are not in spirit form. Some of them have been dissolved and are resting and are not to be woken. And then that's why some of the terrible hauntings that we have is when we have paranormal groups that are not seasoned, and they don't have the respect, and they don't have these things, that they go in and they start messing with stuff and wake up things that should never have been awake.
So I have 2 points. So here's the thing, Barry, we make enemies every case we do. Every single case we do. Because the minute you go in, and so the spirits themselves, no, you're not an enemy because you helped them cross. Yes, that's not an enemy. But the minute you walk into a malevolent entity case and you destroy them, they're not completely gone. They can't come back. And that's why any paranormal team has to watch your back. Now, I'd say, and I'm going to say 90% of the teams don't do clearings. Only 10% of us actually. Only 10% of us actually go in and do the actual job we need to do. But what?
So I just imagined, so you get rid of an evil entity. Mm-hmm. 5 years later, this 5-year-old comes up to you and just kicks you in the nuts.
No, that was Shocker. You ever seen the movie Shocker? The little girl with the bulldozer? Yeah. So getting back to... But getting back to ghosts real quick, there are spirits, and you know this, that are stuck here. They don't know they died. No. And it's funny, because I had to explain this to Anthony and Cheyenne I think it was yesterday, because they were watching some random YouTube video about spirits. And they were like, well, how come spirits are in houses? And so I explained to them what I'm about to say now. But the others is a prime example. And I sound like a broken record because I always mention the others. But that's a prime example of a spirit that doesn't know they died. They're stuck there. And now you got some random stranger coming into your house moving your furniture around. So who's really, who's really the intruder here?
That's correct. That's when you can pass those spirits over by talking to them, communicating to them.
But it really sucks having to explain to a spirit that, I'm sorry to have to inform you this, but you're actually dead, and you need to cross over.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to cross over, but we're here because the people that live here say you're a problem. So we can do this one of two ways. You can stop scaring the dog and the kids, and now that you know you've passed on, they have no problem with you being here, but you're causing issues. Or you can cross over. And if you don't want to cross over, we can always go to the other side real quick and pull one of your family members in to help you cross over. And that we've done that before too. But I do think, and I always use the example of car accidents, homicides, violent death is a common indicator of why a spirit is stuck here.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that 100%.
But
there are some spirits that are, it's like when we talk about being, when you deal with the demonics and everything else, we talk about we call ourselves marked. A lot of the investigators, 10% of it are marked.
Right.
They already know who you are.
Oh, absolutely.
They know what you do. They are very aware that you're coming to
deal with them,
cleanse a situation, and you have so it's kind of like we can go in there and we always talk about, all right, well, will you leave, or will you, some of the options you were talking about, can you make sure that you are not seen, not visible by this person, still stay here, your life is past, and you have to get to that. I hate it when investigators go in and go, when did you die? When did you do that? Because sometimes it says it goes into trauma because they don't know they're dead.
Nope.
So that's one of the questions that you don't like to ask. They don't think about that. That's not respectful. That's not anything. It can cause more problems because you're dealing with something that doesn't know it's dead.
Well, and that, again, with 90% of the teams, they don't go to the root of the problem. You have to get to the root. That's how you solve the problem. Get to the root.
I mean, you can actually, it's like having a parlay. You can go in, and I always talk about, hey, I'll sit down, I'll have a cup of coffee, let's sit here and talk for a second. Well, we can do this the easy way, we can do it the hard way, we can help you out, we can do all this other different stuff. But the root of the problem is you are bothering this family. This is their home now. Yes, it was your home. They don't mind you being here as long as they're not aware of you here. So, enjoy what you have if you would like, and everything is fine. And we'll gladly leave. And, that's why we get the EVPs like at a house last week doing a pre-investigation. I got the EVP going, and you know who I am. And, yes, so we know who you are. What are you going to do?
Right.
What are you going to do? I was going to say, and that's why I'm
saying. How often do you get an EVP that says, get out?
I laugh.
All the time.
Well, there you go. You're not going to be able to reason with that guy, are you?
No, that's why I laugh.
Well,
because a lot of...
You're always going to get... They always have, one of the things that we deal with is, look at it in this aspect. When you are in their space, we're kind of their ghost, Like, you'll hear, did you hear that? Or all that kind of different stuff. And that is basically, they know you're present in their world, But what they're saying, get out of here.
Here's the thing. So to get to the root, and that's a perfect example, Joe. So what's the typical response of a human when an intruder walks in? Get out.
Get out.
Get out.
So I'm going to laugh because I think it's funny, but then I'm going to ask them why. Why do I need to get out? Do you know you're dead? And it's going to take them, it's usually going to take them a few minutes for that to sink in, but then you can actually start the monologue, the dialogue. There you go. You can start the dialogue, and then you can, they'll either get angry, which is another typical shock response, extremely pissed off because they don't... Are you going to believe somebody
if I told someone to get out of my house and they wouldn't leave, I would get mad too.
No. So that's not the... So that's not where I'm going with that. They're going to get mad because you told them they're dead, and they don't want to. They don't want to accept the fact that they're dead because they don't know they're dead.
Yeah, they don't know they're dead. Exactly.
Hey, just
but
thinking
honestly,
outside
if
the box,
somebody-
what are the chances that some of these hauntings aren't necessarily hauntings, but they're time slips? You're telling someone to get out of a house in 2021.
Right.
Maybe it's somebody that's there in 1973 going, God, did you hear that?
Exactly.
Someone just told me I'm dead.
And that's what it is, because we are their ghosts. That's the thing. You know, to them, we are the intruder. The family that's living there is the intruder. They're the ones that are remodeling their house. They're the ones that are changing the paint. Those are the ones that have
moving the furniture.
Right. They're like going, "Hey, I like that door," or I
why
like
are you
my
painting
home
it
the way
purple?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Kayla?
Nothing.
So I mean, some of these spirits do have. I mean, they're possessive. That's what they're there for. They don't know that they're dead. They're still walking around. They are living in their own home, having their own life. They don't know any different. They are experiencing all the things that they had in their home. They go to the kitchen. They open the cabinets. They do all that stuff. That's why people say, "Oh my God, the cabinets are opening." And this happens, and it's like,
Okay, but if somebody came up to you tomorrow, somebody comes up to you tomorrow, and they tell you, "Hey, Barry, you're dead." Okay?
That came up yesterday.
No, right? So somebody comes up to you, you're just living your life, doing your thing, raising your kids, doing whatever it is that you're doing, and somebody comes up to you and tells you, "Do you know you're dead?" Are you going to believe them, or are you going to think they're a complete nutcase?
So this actually came up with Anthony and Cheyenne yesterday. Is Anthony and Cheyenne
I've been
both
dead so many times it doesn't bother me. I guess.
No,
I don't know if I'm alive or dead.
Anthony and Cheyenne asked me yesterday, "How do we know we're dead? We're not dead." They're like, "Well, so here's some of the things you look for."
Heartbeat.
Huh? No. So those times where things move, or if you try to move something and it doesn't move, or if somebody walks, you talk to somebody and they act like they don't see you. They walk right on by you.
Right, but this
those are
can
some
be
indicators.
Everyday things too, because there's plenty of people I've said, "Oh, hey Bob," or whatever, right? And they might have headphones in, or they might be doing something, or they might be focused on something, and will walk right by you. Mm-hmm. Or there's times where I go to move like a coffee cup or something of that nature, but I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm just going to leave that there. It's stuck to the table somehow." But, things like that, where we have this in our life, too. We have certain things that we go, "Well, why didn't that work the way it was supposed to?" Or whatever it is. So, how do we know that everybody isn't dead?
That doesn't happen in my world.
Maybe
somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you're dead," you can always punch them as hard as you can and say, "Hey, look, I'm real now."
Right, but then you
either that or they're dead too.
But that's what I'm saying.
You must be dead too.
So then do you become a malevolent entity in their world?
No, if you punch them and no.
You also have to remember something, that you are a spiritual energy inside yourself. So you have the capability of actually walking outside of your own body. You could be asleep and be able to do things. That may be why you will try to grab a cup. It's not actually you physically doing it.
Well, that's in essence astral.
It is your own. It's an astral thing. So there's different. Several different things that can happen, but the thing about a death is when you're in these homes and you're communicating with an entity or whatever. Some of them are very aware of what they're doing there. Some of them are not aware of what anything is going on, and those are normally the ones that are aware that are actually spirits that are attached because of the fact that it was like Eric said, some kind of trauma that happened very quickly that they didn't realize that they were dead. I had an experience one time that I thought that I was dead. And I went home, I walked around. My mom was cooking. She never paid any attention to me. I said hello to her. I was standing next to her, the whole 9 yards. Walked up to my room. Got in my room. I'm like going, God Almighty, I'm dead. Nobody can see me. Nobody can do anything. And I'm walking around like going, oh, crap. So this is death. I'm here, Right. And I go back down. So I thought, I'll go back downstairs. And I'm walking around the house. I'm right behind my mom. I'm talking to her and everything else. She doesn't say a damn thing to me. Nothing. And all of a sudden, I blew on her neck. And she kind of looked around, and then all of a sudden it was like she focused in, and she says, "Whoa, how'd you get there?" And I went, "Oh." And I said, "You can see me?" And she says, "Yeah, I can see you. What's wrong with you? Where have you been all night long? Why did you just get in? And that's where it's like, and those things happen, and whether it was an astral deal or whatever, it was seriously going on. But, there are so many different ways that we have to look at it. And that's the thing. You have to have an open mind all the time when you're in these cases.
Well, you also have to think outside the box.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're dealing with these other entities that are more nasty and everything else, they don't forget you, like Eric said.
Nope.
They are normally working with somebody else, and if you kill one of their charges, or what I would say, legions, a legion is 10,000 souls. Some demons prefer to use them as bait, and will let you go through them like candy, but the other one still remembers you quite well and communicates to you sometimes when you're in these places, and even though he may leave and not be there, but he'll tell the nasty ones, be nasty to this guy, he's coming for you. And it's the truth, and you got to deal with it.
So we say that you can either
that's
tell
how we come up with the idea.
So with the soul thing, or with the death thing, you say that you can either pass them over, or that you can basically annihilate them, right? Like it's possible.
Oh no, we don't annihilate anybody. What happens is that they are removed, and we use other spirits that will help remove them.
Okay, because I was going to ask, like, where do you annihilate them to? Where would that even be?
Yeah, I don't even.
Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. After living in Detroit, I could say yes. Most of my spirits go to Detroit.
Forward that message to me.
But no, we will call on other things to help us also remove there are several different ways to do it, and several different ways that we perform this depending on what we're dealing with, and they're gone. They don't come back, and they will not come back. They're taken and put somewhere else, or they're taken to rest. They go to rest again there until they are brought back up again, and they do regenerate themselves. Believe me.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why we have shields around FMP headquarters and whatnot, because nothing can come in. I do want to. We have about 20 minutes left. I do want to bring up another topic. It's something I saw on a skeptic video. Are you aware of the effects or the symptoms of carbon? And this is this is their skeptical answer for hauntings, is carbon monoxide poisoning. Do you know what the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning are?
Hallucinations.
Hallucinations, pressure on the chest, and the feeling of dread.
Yes.
And so this woman, her name's Carrie Poppy. She's with a team that goes out and basically tries to skeptically analyze paranormal teams, which I think any team, which we're going to get one, a carbon monoxide tester is not a bad idea to have with you when you go in a case anyway. Because honestly, if you look at some of the clients, when they call, they have a pressure on the chest that can be done by spirits or monoxide poisoning. Hallucinations. So you see your cabinet door move, you see shadows, you see things of that nature. It could be paranormal or it could be monoxide poisoning. I get that. But once you rule out the monoxide poisoning aspect, then you look at the paranormal. But I've always been on the you always look at the mundane before you just say it's paranormal anyway. Is it creaky pipes? Is it your house settling because it's old or it's new? Are the windows rattling because you have another window open or it's next to the furnace draft? You always look at what could be causing this that's not paranormal.
That's like one of the reasons why, for me, I always say that we're more old style. If you would ask half of our team, what do we want to have? We want to have a recorder with us. We want to have a device that is going to, and I have a carbon monoxide tester, that you first go in and you're going to use your MEL meter to run into areas of the house. If they're sleeping with their head next to a furnace or a electrical heater, you test that. If it's hitting 50 to 60, of course, that EMF also causes hallucinations. It can cause different things. So what you want to do is, first of all, say, okay, you need to either sleep with your head at the other end of the bed, or you need to move this away so that the EMF is not doing things to you.
Right.
Let's try to eliminate things. So we use certain equipment as debunking devices, if you will, because we want to find out about the creaky floors. We want to do all that stuff first. That's part of being an investigator. Mm-hmm. And then as you eliminate those things and you do your investigation and you're getting EVPs or you're having experiences in the house where they're setting devices off that you have, I mean, the most information we get, and even, I tell our folks, and I do it all the time. I tell people, even when they call me and tell me about their case, I run a recorder because let me tell you something, the thing that's in the house is going to talk to me. It's going to sit back and it's going to say something. It's going to say, I don't want that guy here. Oh, no. Hey, what the hell? And we always tell people, try not to let this, don't talk about it's coming. Because when spirits know that you're there, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to hide in any spot they can find because they don't want you to know that they're there.
Right.
Absolutely. And it's all, that's why sometimes you have to go to places more than once. Any team that goes into a residential and spends one time in there and can know, because sometimes you don't know what you're going to deal with. You can't get rid of what you don't know because certain things like the smell of sage, certain things like water, certain things like these type of things, or salts, or everything else. So you have to use a combination. It's a science. We're alchemists. We deal with what we are dealing with that we have to get rid of, and then you get rid of it. Now, astrally and everything else, like you guys used to do, you can do a lot that way. I mean, it works quite well, and it's always well to have or communicate to a great psychic also, because they get a precog of what's going on there. And maybe help you, direct you in that way. We use everything to our disposal we use, but the first thing we want to do is go in and try to debunk the thing.
Right.
And look at it as in that way. But our ultimate goal is if we get evidence that supports there's a haunting there, then we need to get to the procedure of saying, okay, do you know you're dead? Do you know that you're this? Do you, you're causing these problems? Why? What is your purpose here? Why are you trying to do this? You know?
So the other thing with getting to the root, though, you don't know if it's a spirit. It could be fake.
True, exactly. It could be fake.
And so by getting to the root, one, that's why the research of the property, not just the house, but the property is important. Mm-hmm. And then you take all your signs and symptoms and put them together. What else could be causing this? You rule out the mundane, and then you start looking. It's just like this is kind of a post I put in FMP yesterday. Actually, what we do is very close to forensic science. Now, I hate using the word science because we're not scientists, but it's very close to what they do with forensic evidence is what we're looking at.
Before you get too far off on it, Eric, you brought up the carbon monoxide.
Right.
I mean, that's simply the carbon monoxide attaches to the red hemoglobin in your blood, and it doesn't allow oxygen to travel. So basically, it's oxygen deprivation is what's happening.
Right.
And like I said, that's going to cause emotional problems, emotional swings. You're going to have vision problems, fatigue. People sometimes say, "Oh, I have an attachment, or I got a ghost attacking me." It could just be something as simple as oxygen deprivation from monoxide poisoning.
And that's why you look at the mundane. True. And that's why I want to get a monoxide tester because and I never thought of that before. But it doesn't mean all of them are monoxide poisoning. You have to take your monoxide tester in there. Nope, there's no monoxide.
You have to eliminate.
Absolutely.
You have to eliminate it. You have to eliminate all the possibilities.
And what's left could be paranormal.
Yes.
But you have to get to the root, and I'll keep saying that. You have to get to the root because it could be fake. We've had so many cases. I remember one case we actually had video evidence where you could see the cat being lifted up, and that was a fairy case. That was a fake case. Fae hate cats.
Yes.
And they had done remodeling in the bathroom. They had done remodeling in the closet, and those are the two things you don't remodel. Bathroom, not so much, but the closet, no. Consider closet sacred space. You don't remodel your closet. That will piss off any spirit. But get to the root. Rule out the mundane, and then find out why the problem is there. Not what it is necessarily, but why it's there.
Yes,
and then
true.
That'll answer the what. The why and the how. And then you get to the what. So what do we got going on Into the Fire this week, Barry?
This week I had a guest cancel on me, so I'm scrambling for a guest. So I might be having you guys.
Okay,
we're good with that.
We're in.
Can we talk about your doppelganger?
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm absolutely fascinated about you seeing a doppelganger and him coming out of a store and getting in a truck and driving away, and you watched him. What if it was a bank that your doppelganger had robbed, got into your truck and drove away? Everyone from the bank comes out and sees you sitting across the street. I mean, has there ever been a case where someone goes to court and said it wasn't me, it was my doppelganger?
I'm sure it's come up.
I have to really tell you that I've had other people also mention the same thing to me where they have seen them their own self somewhere else, and that is one of those things when you do see it. And, people always, for me, I've always had a paranormal magnet in my pocket for some reason. If anything weird's going to happen, it's going to happen when Bear's around, or Bear's going to see it, or someone else with Bear's going to see it, because they just pour out like that, And so I'm very used to seeing that. I was, when I was a kid, I walked around and heard voices continually calling my name, and they were I'd walk to school and have conversations with things. You know, it was like, what the hell?
Did you guys see those 2 pictures I sent you?
I haven't seen
In the messenger thing?
I'm looking. Hold on.
So the first one is Adam Beach. He's a
Yes.
popular actor. The second one's my brother.
Holy smokes, it's the same guy.
Yeah, that's what my parents said when we watched Wind Talkers.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's
They
right.
were wondering how the hell my
Movie.
brother snuck away to make a movie.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable when we realized how close that was.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're having a round table on Into the Fire this week.
Yeah, we just might be doing that.
Okay, I've still got
ahead
3
and plan.
questions.
I got one.
There you go. Excellent.
Well, so again, I usually bring 5 questions just in case we have a slow night where they're real easy answers. They usually ain't, but so I usually have like 3 questions left. So yeah, I've got 3 questions for Into the Fire.
Excellent. Well, this time, get your video cams on because you're going to be on video because it's a podcast now.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do we have video access?
Yeah, I just don't want to see my dirty house.
Damn it! God.
No, we'll just be sitting over there with S4 in the background.
Friend.
Yeah.
Well, no, we'll
Put
that
S4
one
in the back.
It'll go right
That's
there.
Okay.
Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Where we are.
No, we're good.
Let's plan it.
We'll do video.
Joe, you good with that?
Yeah.
Arnold, you want to come in on it?
Sure.
All right, I'll send you all the stuff in the link to come on in on.
For our listeners, when is that?
Huh?
Tuesday night on it'll be on Facebook Live. It'll be on Parahouse TV on Facebook, and we'll put out a great little thing. Send me some pictures of yourselves, and I'll put a promo out immediately and get it going. And Sherry can spread the word. Sherry, you still out there? So we got to have a good time on Tuesday night on Into the Fire this week. So
Perfect.
Everybody's please welcome, and you can see it on my Facebook page, and you can also see it on Parahouse.com, and it will also be carried on Into the Fire's Facebook page. Also, you can go to Into the Fire, and you can see the live broadcast there also.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, we'll plan on that for S4 and Into the Fire merging for Tuesday nights Into the Fire on a round table.
What the hell we got next week?
Huh? And next week we got next week we got Black Eyed Kids, Black Eyed Children.
Black eyed babies.
Oh yeah, Black Eyed Children, man.
So everyone will be back in for Black Eyed Children.
I'm so excited about
I got a
that
story
one.
to tell you about that too.
Oh, wait till next week. So yeah, again, February 28th is Black Eyed Children. We've got March 7th, we'll be talking Project Blue Book and MJ12. The 14th is MILABS. The 21st is, of course, the March Roundtable. And the 28th is Antarctica, What Are the Secrets It Holds. And don't forget, we do have a fundraiser going still in Forest Moon Paranormal until the end of the month. And that is going towards new gear.
And if they want to join the team, what do they do?
If you want to join the team, you can. If you're on Facebook and you're a friend of mine already, just shoot me a message and I'll attach the application to you. So the application process, again, you fill out the application, you send it to me, Cole and I will review it. We do require a background check, so by your signature, you are authorizing us to do a background check. If you don't want one, you're not going to be on the team. That is a prerequisite for it. Then we will have you come into the house, here to the studio, and we will interview you. Once we've interviewed you, you will be on the radio show for another interview. And then we're going to have a big-ass barbecue here at the studio later on in the summer, and you will be notified if you are on the team or not. Yes, it is strict. Yes, it sounds like we're assholes, but hey, no.
We are.
But no, we take this serious. We want a serious team. What do we do? We will be doing house and business paranormal cases. So it will be quick response to an extent, not a rapid response and then, oh my God, grab your shit, we got to go, necessarily. But we'll also be doing camp outs looking for Bigfoot. We'll be doing sky watches.
You name it, we'll do it.
Yep, consider it fun. And of course, S4. So with that, folks, thanks for listening. Hope you had fun tonight. It was a great roundtable.
Night, everybody.
We'll see you. Actually, we'll see you Tuesday if you're going to listen Tuesday, and we'll see you next week. And remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.